Hello, personalities. It's January 10th. Welcome to the 32nd episode of Personalities of the Tarot with Elizabeth Seer. I'm Elizabeth, author of Personalities of the Tarot, a guide to know thyself through astrology and tarot. This book is currently unavailable while I work on a second edition, revisions, and expansions. You can keep checking in here or at my website, elizabethseer.com, for updates and more. Okay. I can't do this episode without discussing what went down at the U.S. Capitol during the time of Capricorn and the Three of Pentacles. If you remember from my last episode, the Three of Pentacles rules in the middle decan of Capricorn from January 1st to the 9th. I suggest going back to episode 31 and listening to that info if you're interested. I think it will be a bit mind-blowing for some. Basically, the presidentially led terrorists came together as a team, integrating their ideals and working toward what they believe. And of course, I said the shadow side of that period is falling out of grace with others, becoming difficult with a know-it-all attitude. But here's the kicker. We're in Capricorn. It's the cardinal earth of the zodiac. Cardinal basically means the leader of the pack, so Capricorn is the implied leader of the earth signs. It's the earthiest of the earth signs, and earth signs can be stubborn, even in the face of logic, to the point of being completely illogical in the face of reason because they've become so entrenched in their false beliefs. Don't forget, Capricorn is also ruled by the devil, who is the materialistic earthly god of the ignorant and unenlightened. Check out episode 30 for those details on the devil. So we're in this period just blanketed by enslavement to our material world and, stupidity when taken to the extreme. The devil, of course, unlike the god of love and light, rules violence and mayhem. So we basically witness the Three of Coins, teamwork for a common cause, during a time of ignorant darkness. But it may not be over just yet. There are some planetary things going on which you need to know about. And I'm going to try to give you the quick and dirty details here, but I highly suggest consulting your favorite astrologers for more info. First, let's go all the way back to last summer, the weekend of July 4th, 2020. There was a full moon lunar eclipse in Capricorn at 13 degrees. Don't get confused. The sun was in the July sign of Cancer, but the full moon eclipse was occurring in Capricorn at 13 degrees. Now, eclipses can, or rather will, also affect the time of their opposite position on the astrological wheel. So, imagine you're looking at a round clock face, and the eclipse that was on July 4th, 5th occurred exactly when the short hand of the clock was right in the middle of the 3. But directly across from that 3 is the 9. The 9 represents the degree of Capricorn the full moon was in at the time of the eclipse. So an eclipse will have immediate impact, and then it can impact again exactly 6 months later. That 6 months later was January 5th, 6th. At the time of the eclipse, it was reflecting our insecurities and the need to make changes to feel more secure and solid. It was highlighting imbalance and or crumbling foundations which needed to be secured. You can see these on both a personal and societal level. Now, there are a few more things to touch on with the energy of the big bosses of the universe bombarding us with their magnetic energy. First, not so big outlier Pluto is the planet of the collective. For a tiny planet, dwarf planet, now planet again on the outskirts of our galaxy, it really packs a powerful punch. He symbolizes difficult catharsis, rebirth, death, and reproduction on a massive societal level. Pluto also rules the unexpected, and this includes revolutionary change. Well, Pluto is hanging out in Capricorn right now, almost in the exact location in the sky as he was when the Revolutionary War began back in 1776. And then finally, before I can move on from this subject, there's one more thing that I have to go over with you. Mars and Uranus are dancing around the astrological boxing ring right now. Mars is, of course, the ancient Roman god of war, and thus the energy of this big red planet is fiery and filled with strife and anger. Uranus is unpredictability. My joke is always, nobody wants an unpredictable Uranus. But you can't have an astrology show without making Uranus jokes once in a while. But seriously, Uranus is the unpredictable planet. He's chaotic and basically full of explosive energy. Well, these two hotheads have been orbiting very closely to each other, and they're going to conjoin, basically show up together in the exact same degree of another Earth sign, Taurus, on, wait for it, January 20th, Inauguration Day. I suggest everyone begin their meditations for peace now. I'm not saying all hell will break loose, but the energy in our universe is certainly rife with the potential. Also, now that I've seen this, it makes so much sense with the annual readings I've done, especially for those people that are close to me. January looked a little off for several people, including myself. And I'm about to out myself on this podcast when it comes to my politics. And while I try like hell to be as fair and non-judgmental as possible, I've been having a really difficult time judging those who resort to violence to get what they want, although it's not theirs to have. I believe we can heal and be better, but it must begin with caring for each other in the societies in which we currently live. You can't have a society, an actual social construct, where everyone is not treated fairly and taken care of within that society. The party of this outgoing demagogue is not fair. They haven't played fair, and they showed it with the Amy Barrett, Conan SCOTUS push, and just myriad other things over the last several years, including not properly taking care of U.S. citizens in the middle of a deadly pandemic. Anyone who thinks that the mouthpiece of evil, who spits nothing but lies and hate from his executive podium, has your best interest in mind is really just a lost soul bouncing around in the delirium of a narcissistic megalomaniac who's done everything possible to tear this country to shreds, while his ego is inflated by the poor souls who are not intelligent enough to search beyond his immoral rhetoric. I said it. He lost fair and square. And how dare he and his followers try to steal my vote from me simply because they were never taught how to act right and lose fairly. The results of our election have been backed by courts and state leaders from all backgrounds and parties, and apparently only the noble and virtuous understand how to nobly and virtuously step back while the chosen winner steps up to the mic. If you want more information on the two very different personalities of these presidents, check out my special episode, Personalities of the Presidents, from November 2020. Okay, we have two periods and two cards that I need to discuss. So let's begin with our move from the Three of Coins, which was January 1st to the 9th, into the last decan of Capricorn, January 10th to the 19th, and the Four of Coins. Remember, coins are also known as pentacles. As we already know, the suit of pentacles is earthy, and it deals with our physical affairs, including job or school, our home, money, bank accounts, property, and even our physical bodies and health. Pentacles also brings us back to the healing of nature. Now, fours are stability in the tarot, so think of fours as the stabilizing four legs of a table. Fours are a timeout to evaluate a situation. Keywords and phrases I associate with this Four of Coins in this time period include possession, control, setting limitations, creating stability, saving, conserving. Also, resistance, stagnation, blocked change, greed, and being penny pinching. When I pull this card for someone in a reading, I see it as holding on to what you've got, saving money to pay for rent and bills when you'd love to let loose with your debit card online, buying up those bits and bobs you've had your eye on. You might be going to bed early to wake up for work when you might want to binge on food and bad television shows all night. It's not the most quote-unquote fun card or fun period. It's not so much saving up money, time, and energy for a rainy day as it is saving up to cover your responsibilities. Now, for those born in this 9-day period, there is a natural attachment for material things. You could be willing to work hard for money and things, and you love to hear your own voice rising above all others. You like to have control over your material world, and you likely find comfort and security in your home, bank account, and possessions. If you manifest the darker side or the shadow side of your birth energy, you could be a hoarder or greedy, stingy, and selfish. You may have an innate fear of poverty and become defensively materialistic. If you manifest any of these shadowy aspects, you're going to need to loosen your grip on your material things and realize that these belongings don't really bring the security that you're seeking. For those of all signs, the energy of this time could bring resistance to change in the physical world. In the extreme, there's resistance to sharing time, energy, or material things. It's a time to be disciplined in your approach to health and wealth. This period is great for reevaluating your job, budget, or diet and exercise regimen. But stay away from the trap of equating your emotional security with money or your self-worth with your things. Try to overcome the false belief that your worth is based on your job or the stuff you own. Stabilize without hoarding too much of your time, money, and energy, or life could become more cluttered. You may need to work on trusting the universe to help with providing for your needs as you let go of the false security of things. It's famous birthday time. Here's a list of those happy Cappies born the third decan of Capricorn from January 10th to the 19th. And unlike the period of time we're in, there's absolutely no order to this list. Rod Stewart, Dave Grohl, Martin Luther King Jr., Benjamin Franklin, Edgar Allan Poe, Janis Joplin, Jermaine Clement, Mary J. Blige, Howard Stern, Rob Zombie. Also, Liam Hemsworth, Orlando Bloom, and Patrick Dempsey, a triumvirate of male beauty. Shonda Rhimes, Michael Pena, Julia Louis-Dreyfus, Jason Bateman, Carl Weathers, Aaliyah, Lin-Manuel Miranda, FKA Twigs, Jim Carrey, Muhammad Ali, Michelle Obama, Zooey Deschanel, Betty White, Al Capone, Steve Harvey, Dwayne Wade, James Earl Jones, Jason Segel, Jay Chou, Mac Miller, and happy birthday to the beautiful soul that is Dolly Parton on January 19th. Okay, we've got one more to talk about because we're moving from the period of the Queen of Pentacles, she rules December 12th to January 9th, into the reign of the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords covers the last 10 degrees or 9 days of Capricorn and the first 19 to 20 days of Aquarius, from January 10th to February 9th. As a person, his more positive characteristics include being authoritative, logical, intellectual, direct, careful, observant, philosophical, and even, and this is what I wrote in my book 10 years ago, revolutionary. His shadow side makes him blunt, overbearing, judgmental, emotionally distant, and even deceitful. His intentions, at least at first, are normally good, but his attitude can get overbearing very quickly if he doesn't keep his opinions and judgments in check. Those born in this period may be able to offer considerable help and wise counsel using their observation and intellect. At the end of the day, they could experience issues with trust, being trustworthy, while also trusting others. For everyone of all signs now, you should remember that knights in the tarot are harbingers of change. The suit of swords is emotional struggle and strife, along with intellect and communication. The time of the Knight of Swords from January 10th to February 9th may bring changes which cause emotional discomfort or upheaval in your life. It can even be a rude awakening, which forces you to reevaluate your motives and thoughts. Be patient and cautious while still being open to all options. This is a time to pay close attention to the details as you clear emotional debris. But the last thing you want to do is throw the baby out with the bathwater. Oftentimes, this knight is depicted in the tarot artwork with a sword in one hand and another weapon in the other, sometimes another sword or a scythe in the other. It shows us he's ready to just slash and burn to clear a path. But we don't want that. It's too stressful. While the suit of swords can bring emotional struggle and strife, it's also the suit of intelligence and communication. So you can decide to use this energy any way you wish. You can try to be calm, cool, intelligent, and communicate your thoughts in a measured manner. Remember, effective communication also includes listening. Or you can slash and burn while the whole place burns down. Either way, change will happen under the time of the Knight of Swords, but your approach can make a big difference in whether that change will be fair and balanced or abrupt and harsh. This is already a long episode. Well, I mean, it is a long episode for personalities of the tarot anyway. So we'll dig into famous birthdays for that time of the Knight of Swords as we move through his degrees. So right now in the time of Four of Coins, at the beginning of the Knight's reign, and when we come back in about 10 days, I'll share more birthdays for the beginning of Aquarius with the Five of Swords. I'm not going to lie to you. That Five of Swords period, which begins Aquarius, is always a little rough. Remember, fives bring chaos, and swords denote struggle and strife. So the Five of Swords period from January 20th to the 30th is usually rife with conflict of some sort. Couple that with Mercury going retrograde on the 30th, and it's going to be a bumpy ride. Remember, we always feel that retrograde energy at its strongest in the week leading up to and after the actual retrograde period. So if you have any electronics or communication issues or devices which require upgrading, take care of it now. Remember, you don't want to start anything new, sign contracts, or purchase electronics and big ticket items during Mercury's retrograde periods. Our motto for the rest of January is to keep calm and carry on. So to wrap it up, January is a little imbalanced with the planets and the period of the slash and burn Knight of Swords. Even the balance of the Four of Pentacles can be imbalanced if the energy isn't used for good instead of evil, such as hoarding, greediness, and power grabs. But don't worry. Be the light in your small part of the world and allow it to shine on all those around you. The world needs you right now. If you'd like to support this podcast, please head over to elizabethseer.com and buy my book, Ex Libris Tarot, for only $11.99 on Amazon. Or you can purchase a reading through my shop or contact me to make an appointment through the Appointments tab. You've been listening to Elizabeth Seer. I thank you, and I'm grateful for this time with you.